Hi, I'm Angie. Today I'm going to be making gooey chocolate cranberry squares. And this is a two-part recipe where we have to make the crust and then we put the topping on after we've baked the crust. So I've preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit and I've lined a 9x13 pan with foil and just lightly buttered the foil. So let's start with the crust. In this bowl I'm going to combine 1.5 cups of all-purpose flour, half cup of granulated sugar, and just a half teaspoon of salt. Now, using a pastry blender, or you can just use your hands as well, I'm going to cut in a half a cup of butter. That's one stick, and it's been softened just slightly. So you just want to cut that in until it starts to blend and clump. You can see it's starting to clump now. So now I'm going to add in a 1/4 cup of milk and stir it quickly with a fork until a soft dough forms. Stir a little bit more with my fingers, and you're actually going to pick this up with your fingers and scatter it over the bottom of your prepared pan. Scatter this over the pan. We're going to press it into the bottom of the pan and just about a 1/4 inch up the side of the pan. We're going to bake the crust for about 15 minutes at 350, and when we take it out we'll do the top part of the recipe. It's a nice easy crust because you don't have to roll it out. So I'll just press this all over the bottom. Okay, so there's the crust all pressed into the bottom of the pan, and one little tip that I learned from my favorite chef, Capril Pence, is when you get to the edge to make sure that there's not a big ridge of pastry in the corners as you go up the edge. You want it defined so you don't get that big hard clump of crust. So I just kind of indent it with my finger. So I'll pop this in the oven and bake it for 15 minutes. Okay, so here's the crust all done. I'm just going to set that aside while we make the filling. For the topping, I've got 1 2/3 cup of granulated sugar. I'm going to add in a half a cup of cocoa, that's unsweetened cocoa powder, and 2 tablespoons of flour. I'll just whisk those together, and then I'll gradually add in 1 cup of milk. I'll whisk in 3 whole eggs. And a 1/4 cup of melted butter, that's half a stick. And 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. Nielsen Massey is my favorite. And I'm going to whisk that until it's really well blended. And finally I'll stir in 1 cup of dried cranberries. I'm going to pour this over the hot crust and spread it evenly, and then bake it for about 30 minutes. You want it to be sort of evenly puffy all over. So here's the hot crust, and we'll pour the topping over top. Just make sure it's even. Okay, I'll pop that in the oven for half an hour and I'll show it to you when it's done. Okay, it's been half an hour and the squares are done. Smell really good, as usual. So you want to let them cool completely in the pan this time, and then you can just use the sides of the foil to lift them out and then cut them into squares. So thanks for watching, and I hope you try some gooey chocolate cranberry squares.